Good evening, everyone. This is Gil at Camppatton Family Compound. Tammy was going to be here. She's sick. She's not going to be here, but Mark is here from Chef Tech, and we want to welcome you all to Monday Night Fireside Chat. Tonight's topic is canning wild things, and we're going to go more than just canning here tonight. So here we are. And as you can see, we got the wild things over there.
I had to change it, you know that.
Yep. Yeah, Tammy had it all set up to go live on her side, and she got hit with something, probably a version of the flu. And she said sort of like a migraine thing stuff. So if you can, keep Tammy in your thoughts. Maybe say a little prayer for her that she'll get better quickly. Yeah. So let's see who all's in here. Over here, I know things are running a little slow here tonight. All righty. So first one in was Walt Rogers, then Phelan Clan Wolf, and Phelan says SSG Boot Camp Forever. He's a member of the channel and of the Staff Sergeant's Boot Camp. Let's see. And Diana 2 is here. Galen Strain. Tammy Harder's here. Little Lone Prepper. Shady Hill Homestead. And it looks like I've got a couple others that are still lurking in the background. Lurking is fine, but please hit the thumbs up and at least say lurking or listening. Alrighty, so tonight's topic is, we've been talking, over the last year, all the different things, the canned stuff. Occasionally, venison has come up as a little sidebar. Same thing with bear had come up. And I figured we'd talk about some more of the wild things that you can, which, when you think about it, aren't really that different than domesticated stuff. And yeah, pumpkin counts.
She needs a login.
And of course, my cough is going to last for the next several months because it's turned into what I call my catch-22 cough. A cough, it irritates my throat, which makes my throat tickle, which makes me cough more, which makes me, it's in a vicious circle. So, but I got cough drops all over the place now. And lots of bottles of water, stainless steel bottles of water. All right. Okay, so let's head over here, bring up some of this, and we start talking here. And if anybody wants that does canning wild stuff and wants to come up and talk about it as well, let me know in the chat, and I'll drop the link in there. All right. I had to throw this one up there because this is funny. Because they got venison on the side and they got wild carrots and potatoes and wild stuff in the middle here.
Yeah, that was like stew in the middle there. Looks like there's meat in there.
Yeah, there could be some meat in there too, but everything's wild on this one. And I was really happy they posted that one. What's going on here? What the heck? Oh, dang, I can't get in there and take these out. All the timers on it. I keep forgetting to take the timer out on it. Look, go back one. There we go. All right. So, yeah.
Well, technical malfunction
when I'm doing questions, it's fine. I want to do one question at a time. No, I just want to throw it up. I keep forgetting that, I got to throw it up there when I'm, change the animations on it. And so
venison, moose, bear, and elk. Pretty much all that, except for fish, gets processed at meat times.
Right.
So Kaylin asked pheasant, and Candace chicken, which is meat times. Yeah. So there's really no difference in meat times. I'm not going to quote any times right now because I don't have Tammy's brain. I look in my book when I need the times. I don't have it memorized like she does. So bear with me on that one. But yeah, everything there is meat time. Fish is more time.
Yeah.
Period. Because there's bacteria and stuff naturally occurring in there. You got to make sure it's gone. I have never canned fish. I probably never will. I mean,
well, you got a freeze dryer, so.
What's that?
You got a freeze dryer.
That's right. I've freeze dried raw fish. That's a different story. Well, we'll do that on some other feed again. But fish is longer time because of natural bacteria and things, parasites that can be in your fish, wild or fresh or whatever you get it. So different time.
And Tammy Harder, all three of my kids read the Wild Things book. Yeah, my daughter read it a lot.
I read it all the time. Scared the crap out of me.
I found it boring. You know what I read as a little kid? As a little kid, I was reading my grandmother's books of Sherlock Holmes, the actual books from Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I read Tarzan. I read the Mars adventure ones, Princess of Mars, and those. And then when I hit double digits, I was reading Tolkien.
I remember reading
Tolkien will scare the crap out of you.
Yeah. I had it was like the Little Red Book of Stories or something. There was like 80 different stories in there. I think we all had it growing up. I think I got 2 copies kicking around somewhere. I read that thing front to back so many times. And I can't remember a single, but as soon as I'll start reading one of them again, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this.
And Lewis is here. It's the Marshmallow Man. And he's been a member for 13 months. All right. Other wild things. And this goes to what I'm going to be showing here in a minute. Wild garlic, wild asparagus. And Tammy's talked about wild asparagus quite a bit. But where to find it and and being careful about where you harvest it at. If it's too near a roadway, it could be contaminated. Howie's talked about wild potatoes a bunch, wild mushrooms as well. And I'm trying to remember who Teresa and Lee at Stringfield Ridge Farm were talking about harvesting, finding wild yams and doing those as well. Around here, all right, so around here we do have a moose. I'm surprised the moose hasn't put in its fall show up in town. There's one that comes down in, goes through town, goes back out in the springtime, comes back in with its offspring, wanders through town for several days, and then disappears. But we do have their elk are farther away, and some of the people here go out to hunt elk. And bears are way up in the in Tetons. So I don't think they've seen a bear down here in ever. However, they do have cougars down here.
And we got bears that wander in my neighborhood every now and then. One of my neighbors who, for some reason, they love her house. She'll send me a text. She's like, "The bear is back," and it's a small one. It's always a small brown black bear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, yeah. Nobody can shoot it around here. You have to call, animal control. But they can never catch it, and it just disappears back into the fields.
And Caitlin was mentioning, and wild berries, of course. My grandmother, living up by Coeur d'Alene, actually a little bit south of Coeur d'Alene, a little farther inland, used to talk about going out to and picking the wild berries by the streams and stuff up there.
We had a little case down in Virginia. One of the guys I work with, he lives down there. He called me. I was like, he never calls me. I was like, what's the matter? He's like, you're not going to believe what just happened. I'm like, what? He's like, remember I told you a couple of years ago we had an albino deer wandering around? I was like, yeah. He's like, it wandered onto a farm, and the guy had somebody over, allowed him to hunt there. He shot it. and he posted it on Facebook. He's like, that guy will never be able to show his face in this county again because the people would feed it. It was the only albino deer around there, and he would walk into people's yards.
Yeah.
And
was it a buck?
Oh yeah, it was like a 10-pointer. It was a big guy, and everybody left it alone, and everybody knew to leave it alone except for this one guy that decided to go hunting on somebody's farm, and the farmer let him, but never told him about it. Came from, I think he was from South Carolina, came up to hunt because there's always lots of deer in that area in Virginia, and he shot it and started posting it. And that guy, they'll probably never allow him back in that town. They see his face, they will never let him in that town again.
Yeah. Yeah, because albinos are one of those ones you want to save and try to get them to breed. Yeah. To pass on those genetics.
Well, the problem is they rarely breed because they're albino, and the females want nothing to do with it because he's a different color. Messes them up.
Yeah, the Red Poppy Ranch, about 85 miles south of me, have what type of deer? They got some deer that they're allowed to raise, and they have to get all state permits and stuff. And they got not mule deer, no. These are special deer, but they got like 12-foot high fences around it, big area for the a lot of area for them to wander around in, and they're breeding. But that's the type of condition where you have if you can get like the albino deer in there and feed them, keep them in there, and keep them safe in there, maybe give them a couple does, and he's the only buck in there, then they'll breed.
Oh yeah.
I hear they saw black-tailed deer. It was something almost like miniature reindeer or something like that he was raising down there. All right, so that was venison. This I did not put the lettering on these two slides. These were the pictures that I got off the internet. So this is bottled moose. No, it's not bottled. It's canned.
Well, it's in a jar, so it's jarred moose meat.
Yeah. And this here, they're getting ready to do. This is bear meat. This is bear meat that's been cut up like stew meat. And so
bear meat works better when you can it, especially if it's a tough roast.
Yeah,
because it'll tenderize when it's cooking. The only difference, the two ways to can it, you got hot pack, cold pack. Tammy talks about that. Raw pack on bear meat, you'll get like when you open the jar up, it has its own odor. It's not a bad odor. It just has a different smell, and it goes away as soon as you cook it up. It goes away.
Yeah.
I prefer to brown my meats before I cook them, before I can them, when I do canning.
Yeah. And so, I it's been a couple of years since I've heard anybody on Facebook here in either in Basalt or Firth or Shelley talking about getting a bear. But occasionally someone goes out bear hunting and they get a bear. And they're talking about, all the meat you had to do. Of course, when someone does get a bear, it's, okay, I got a bear. Who wants bear meat? And, of course, like if Tammy knows, you try to get the bear meat and some of the bear fat to make the bear tallow, which is, not the gold standard, the platinum standard.
Bear tallow is great for conditioning leather.
Yeah. And it's supposed to have very highly desirable, if I say get the word right, I saw it.
Enzymes or something, yeah.
Medicinal uses.
Sure.
Like arthritis. And of course, some of the wild things you get, this isn't exactly canning, this is pickling, and we're going to go talk about stuff too. This is the garlic
Scapes.
Yeah. And there were a whole. Okay, what I did was I Googled canning wild things and went to images, and this stuff came up too. I mean, it was just like, wow, this is so cool. Just looking at all the pictures of stuff they considered wild things to can. Now, Pickling is not exactly canning, but a lot of people put it in canning jars and seal
It is. Once you can pickle it and water bath it, you're
Yeah.
canning. Jellies
Yeah.
are water bath, it's canning. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're fermenting it, you're not going to heat it, so you're fermenting it.
Yeah. And this is one of the other ones that had a lot of things after it on the other computer, not this computer. And it amazes me how much on the one computer, I'll get all these pictures. I put the same thing in on this computer. I get a whole bunch of different pictures. I go back to that computer and the pictures are all there. It's like,
it's your history.
All right. So let me go ahead and take that down and bring up the page. There we go. And there is, all sorts of cool things. Wild Things Botanical. I mean, I've heard a lot of channels talking about foraging wild things for medicinal purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And making from the
there's a lot of books out there too.
Tinctures and everything else. And this is on a home. Can't hardly read it here. Home Punsula Seasonal Living, something or other. Anyways, but there are a couple books here and stuff and everything about blueberry herbal vinegar, best it says best ever pickling liquid, and pickling onions is something I haven't heard people talk about for a while, even here on YouTube. And Howie's here, Food Forest Permaculture.
Oh, okay. Hey, Howie, you ready? You ready, Howie?
Hang on.
I hope you're watching. You can make me big, Gil. Make me big.
All right.
All right. Let me turn. Where's my camera? There it is. Hi, Howie. This is my shop, and I'm not a bot.
Ears in the house.
You're killing me.
Oh, there's one of those dandelion pesto. I've heard people talk about making dandelion pesto and dandelion some of the. And so, but there are a lot of wild things other than just wild meats. I mean, think about the wild meats. People raise pheasants, they hunt pheasants. People raise turkeys, they hunt turkeys. Some people, most people raise cows. There are wild cattle out there still that you can go out and hunt. Some people do raise deers, but most people hunt deer or venison if you prefer. And let me get one of my other cough drops here. I got orange flavored Forest Septic cough drops today. Woo-hoo. And there are just so many cool things out there. Pickled ramps. Ramps when I was back in West Virginia was
I was going to say,
big.
do you even know what ramps are? You're on the other side of the country. I don't think even Howie knows what ramps are.
Yeah, there in West Virginia and southern Pennsylvania, there is the Ramp Festival in the fall.
Yep.
And I got transferred out of there the week before the festival. But everyone's telling me, they have a specific festival for it, so everybody knows on this date, start eating ramps, because if you eat ramps and someone else doesn't, they don't want to be around you. But if they ate ramps, they can't smell it on you.
Right.
So, and then of course, there is fermenting carrots, which
I got to look down in my low area on the property in the stream area where it's always wet. If I get ramps down there, I might.
Yeah.
Never looked. It's too swampy.
The other thing I missed out on in West Virginia there that comes about 2 weeks after the Ramp Festival was the Possum Stomp.
The possum stomp.
Yeah, they'd drive around, and when they see a possum trying to cross the road, they'd run out and poof, and see how far they could skid on it. And then if they killed it, they would take it home and cook it up.
Oh,
yeah.
After it's turned into a pancake, sure, whatever.
Yeah. No, another. Hey, these are down in Buchanan, West Virginia. Okay.
Yeah. Well, with ramps, you also got fiddlehead ferns.
Yeah.
Or fiddleheads, which are mostly, and I got those growing everywhere on the property, and you just got to pick the little brown specks out of them because it's the leaf that dries off when it starts to grow, and you got to get them young when they're these little fiddles looking things.
Well, if you have them growing there, the ramps might be down there by the water.
Probably. I just don't go down there because it's just a swampy, buggy mess.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is if you don't have any ramps growing down there.
Oh, I can plant them.
Mm-hmm.
If I can get somebody to get me some live ramp plants, I got a lot of friends that know where they're at. I'm like, hey, rip me out a whole bunch of roots and stuff. I'm going to start planting them down by me, and then I'll have them down every spring picking ramps. Yeah, they sort of are.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the people explained to me this. They said it's kind of a cross between several different plants.
Yeah.
They said onions, and they said rhubarb and something else because the leaves on them and stuff. But you don't eat the leaves. I'm trying to remember. It's been 78 is when I was back there.
Right. Yeah, if you go to YouTube and just punch in ramps, you will find thousands of videos of everybody in West Virginia picking ramps, cooking ramps, recipes for ramps, canning ramps, pickling ramps, you name it, they're doing it to ramps, and the rest of the country has no idea what you're talking about. Yeah, it's tenderized. Sort of like a pizza. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Pizza possum.
But there are, let me go back over here to this again. So yeah, there's your ramps. What else we got here? I like this one here, the South Dakota State University Extension System talking about tenderizing wild game. So, and that's one of the things I did learn about when doing when hunting wild game, especially deer and elk and moose, that if you want to make the kill as clean as clean and quick as possible, so they don't run at all. You don't want the heart cycle and pumping all the adrenaline into the meat.
Yeah, that's you can always tell you had a bad harvest if the meat is really strong.
Yeah. Oh, all right. Ramps are in aisle. Cool. Let's see. Let's go down and see what other things we can find down here that they're talking about. Oh, yeah. Wild tea mixes, something else to harvest. I really should have called this harvesting the wild things, not canning the wild things. But
preserving. Yeah, preserving. That's it.
Yeah. And of course, here we go. Wild leeks, and in here in parentheses it says ramps. So, and then of course it looks like they got their pesto with it too and stuff. So it's one of those things I would, I think it's too cold. I don't know. It snows, there in West Virginia. It snowed pretty good.
Yeah, but they grow in very shady, like not shady, but shaded areas in wet areas.
Yeah,
like rhubarb. Yeah,
yeah. I would probably have to take it over by the city park for Firth down there on the shores of the Snake River and plant it, in amongst the stuff down there and try to get it to grow down there.
It may not like the dirt out there.
Yeah, but then if they do like the dirt, it may take off. Then all of a sudden, everybody will be talking. Oh, what are these? What are these? We got.
It's an invasive species.
Wild leeks. Oh, God, it's ramps. It's ramps.
I'm gonna check your local code for that one. Might be listed as an invasive species.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Wild goose. Yeah, that's another wild one everybody hunts around here. Hardly anybody has pet geese. They all hunt the Canadian snow geese as they come through here.
Yep. I think that wild goose is beer or alcohol in that picture, but yeah. Yeah, that's a beer. That's a beer.
Yeah, but it's, right. Thanks, wild goose stood out. Yeah, my dad wanted to take when my dad wound up getting cancer a couple of years before I got married. He died the year after I got married, but he was wanting to take me and my brother and my two nephews elk hunting. But, the cancer came and got him. But my dad used to go hunting elk. He said the best way to hunt elk was on horseback, because when you got near them, you would switch your legs so you could get off the on the left side of the horse with your right foot in the stirrup and just lay down with the horse, and you could walk right into the herd.
Yeah,
you look like a lump on the horse. Yeah. Now here's something I want. I've seen a couple pictures on, was wild garlic vinegar. That sounds pretty cool.
Maybe ramp vinegar. Ooh, yeah. There we go.
Yeah. Howie, Glenn's here, how to garden. But wild garlic vinegar would be something to try. Oh, wild strawberries, yeah. Wild strawberries are in some areas are wild. I mean, they're all over the place. Up in northern Idaho, they're up there.
Yeah, the wild strawberries I get around here in my area, I mean, they're everywhere. They're like weeds. And you pick one, they're hard. They have no flavor, no sweetness, nothing. The birds don't even eat them.
That's strange because my grandmother always claimed that the wild strawberries up there were more flavorful than the
they are
commercially picked ones you get. Yeah.
When I was in Boy Scouts, we did a high adventure trip out in the middle of nowhere in Maine, and we did a camp out somewhere. It was a field. There was an old farmhouse that was long gone, but we picked wild strawberries for our pancakes and those things. We were out in the field for hours just picking strawberries, eating them. It's like, guys, I need a few for the pancakes for the morning, so try not to eat them all.
Yeah. So there. Yeah. So there are books out there. I have all the books. There's some books listed at the top here, but let's see if it pulls up. It's only showing 2 books here this time. But yeah, there are a lot of different things in the wild around you, even in the wild of Los Angeles. If Steve, of course, their trainers is listening.
Steve's here.
I haven't seen him. It just sometimes he lurks. Okay. But I know when I lived in Tujunga, which is down there, suburb of LA. You go out, you got Sunland, then you got Tujunga, then you got La Crescenta, then you got Glendale. And we used to go up outside of Tujunga, once you pass a certain street, there ain't no more houses. It's wild lands, except for a lot of the creeks going up into the canyons are still cement to try to control the flash floods that come down. And because we used to ride our bikes up this hill until we ran out of concrete, and then we'd get them out of the gully and then hike around up there. But there is a lot of stuff growing up there, and people think, oh, that's the dead forest up there. Everything's dead. It's all dry and everything else. No, there's a lot of stuff growing up there. It's just that the top turns brown and the bottom's still green underneath. And there are rabbits up there. There are quail. There are pheasant. There were somebody let loose some peacocks. And peacocks were they didn't come down close to houses. Once they got farther away, there were a lot of peacocks up in the one area, and they stayed together and they defended each other, so they were able to to grow and stuff. But that's
I don't think can you eat peacock? I guess you could. It's a big bird.
It's just like pheasant, only more so.
Okay.
Plus, once you harvest the peacock, you got all those feathers to sell. Side hustle, ching ching. Yeah, and edible plant books. You get edible plant foraging books for each state of the union.
Yeah, I need a couple.
So you know exactly what there are. And of course, when it comes to fish, you got to know your state's individual dictatorial laws on fishing, because back when I was a little kid, you didn't need a fishing license in California.
No. Now you need a fishing license to even buy a hook.
Yeah. But when my grandmother grew up there in northern Idaho, they used to go. They were able to go hunt, fishing with some of the local Indians up there, and because they were with the Indians, they could fish the way the Indians were because they were on tribal land.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if you're not a Native American, Indian, whatever you want to call them, you can't do that. There's a law here in Idaho that only they can do the net fishing in the river, and stuff. Only the natives can. And so, but there are some states where they allow you to string out a trout line. Other states you can't. You do a trout line. So, Glenn has had peacock. Yeah. And so there are a lot of, the more you think about it and look around what's in your area, there are more wild things that are out there. And Mark, that was bad.
Well, Lewis said it first. Rabbits make great slippers. I'm like, yeah, bananas make better slippers. Come on, That's the old kid joke. But anyway.
Yeah. Like Holly says, and that's the thing, practice. If you want to be able to, if you see all the wild things that are out about your place, Rose, you see all the wild things that are out and about your place, and you want to get good at cooking them up so they taste good, practice.
I was just telling my wife here before I came out for the feed that there's so many wild plants, even in our backyard. Purslane, stuff like that, grows everywhere. It's a weed. She's like, yeah, it's a weed. I was like, no, it's edible. Everything's edible. A lot of things are edible. And there's one plant, I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me. Howie will probably know it. Everybody buys them as decorative plants. They put them next to their house. They're not plants. They'll get a little flower, but they get these really big, wide leaves on them. They're green, and then sometimes there's a white stripe or two in them. And I forget the name of it, but when they're small, you can pick them. They taste like asparagus. Just fry them in a pan. They taste just like asparagus. And I forget the name of it. It's just a really broad leaf plant. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it for about an hour. We got them on the side of our house.
Yeah.
Hosta.
Yep.
That's it. Thank you, Little One Prepper. Hostas are totally edible, but only when they're small. You can eat them when they're bigger, but the leaves are really tough. But as soon as they start popping up, don't pick them all because you'll kill the plant. But yeah, you can pick little hosta stems, the little short ones when they're growing. And yeah, just take them, wash them off, throw them in a frying pan, a little butter, salt, and pepper, and they taste like asparagus.
The when I was a little kid, the big creek, the Heimer Creek flowed right next to our church, and had a bridge going across it to get into the church parking lot. And there were honeysuckles growing around that bridge. And every year after church, every kid, boom, straight to the bridge, and we're all picking honeysuckle blossoms and sucking on them. And I'm trying to remember who it was. It might have been Teresa at Stringfield Ridge Farm that was talking about stuff you can do and cook with honeysuckles.
I never knew you could do much more than just pick the flowers off and just suck on them for a second, get that little sweetness out of them.
It's got some medicinal. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said that word right 3 times, and the 4th time I screwed it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Medical, yeah.
Let me get my tongue tied here.
Yeah, that and fiddlehead ferns. We talked about that. Okay. Must be that 13-month calendar they wear.
There is a ranch in California that is raising buffalo for
There's a lot of ranches raising buffalo
consumption. Arms Family Homestead, DJ's brother, he has what's the name of his channel now? Cross Timber Bisons, and he's raising bison. And because it was such a dry year this year, he was having trouble keeping his bison alive.
Oof.
Or his buffalo out there because of the having to move them around and trying to get permits to drill another well there in Oklahoma.
I think Yanasa TV does a lot on that. He travels around and talks to the farmers, all the bison and buffalo farmers and that, and how bad it was this past year.
Yeah. Wendy Hardnack Farms is there in Oklahoma as well too. And just popped up here. So Cold War Preppers going live at the top of the hour. Prepper Workbook, Chapter 6, Hurricanes, Floods, and Tsunamis. That's his topic for tonight. I think we covered just about everything there was to cover. So coming up here, I got to work on that one for tomorrow, big time. Tomorrow on Gray Man Prepping is Faraday cages.
And you froze.
Am I still frozen?
Nope, you're good now.
Okay, so tomorrow's Faraday cages on Gray Man Prepping. Thursday is the midnight ride with the Gray Man Prepping. Friday, froze. Friday, I may have I will have the grandkids over here because my daughter's working. The topic is knitting and quilting for warmth. No, I don't knit. I have helped my wife quilt. She has she's working on a whole bunch of really cute quilts and stuff. And she's made a whole bunch of them for the grandkids. In fact, I actually got one of them on my bed. Saturday on for Survival Saturday on Gray Man Prepping is have a side hustle to help support your family. And next Monday is storing and reheating containers. So basically, we're going to be talking about food storage, different containers you can store food in, and which ones are best for reheating your leftovers. The Friday and Saturday, yes, I did not go live Friday and Saturday. Had the grandkids over here, like 12 kids, it seemed like. Only 4 of them, but it seemed like 12. So I didn't go live with those. But Urban Water scrounging has been postponed to the 28th. And garden items to salvage first in Tawaki has been postponed to January 10th.
When are you doing containers to store food in or heat food?
That is next Monday.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it's going to be here next Monday. We're going to talk about storage containers to do it. And if I remember and do it right on that, we're also going to talk about certain types of canning jars in that as well. And so got to do a little more research on 2 brands out there, whether theirs are going to be freezer proof or not. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in. And hopefully I'll get this throat under control a little bit more as the winter goes on here, as long as the grandkids don't bring some new variant home from school.
Then we'll get Tammy back here on Monday to help us out.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Hopefully she gets better here quicker. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming in, and we'll hopefully see you tomorrow over on Gray Man Prepping. Take care.
Good night, Howie.